Hey everybody, happy Friday and welcome to this week's Coffee with the Principal. Thank you so much for being with me today and taking the time to join on our time together. Welcome. Okay, so just as a reminder, you've joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording this meeting and we encourage you to leave your video on, but you certainly do not have to. And yeah, when we get to the Q&A time, feel free to raise your hand with your virtual hand or just put some in the chat. And if we're a small group, we can just unmute. As a reminder, we do post all of our Coffee with the Principals on our YouTube channel, and this allows families who aren't able to make it live to join us a little bit later. Okay, the other thing I want to remind folks of is that right here in this spot, Ms. Dunklin is our Title I coordinator, and every year our Title I coordinator hosts an annual Title I parent meeting. And so right at the end of our time at 10:30, she's going to join us a little bit before then, and she's going to stay on this spot and go over the Title I program and share that with families. So we encourage you to stick around and to participate in that annual Title I meeting that'll happen right here. You don't have to go anywhere from 10:30 to 11 o'clock. And Ms. Dunklin will be joining us at that time. All right. So again, my favorite part of this job is instruction. And when I was out ill the previous week, I didn't get to go into classrooms and see what was going on. But anyway, being back this week has been great because I've been able to go back into classrooms and see the learning that's happening with our young people. These are just some of the classrooms I've been hopping into. I got to hop into a Math 7 classroom where students are solving real life problems involving unit rates. Comparing two quantities and seeing patterns between them is one of the most powerful skills to develop as a mathematician, but also as a problem solver. When we talk about becoming problem solvers with great hearts and great minds, this is what we mean. In ELA 6, students are capturing and diagramming sentences and stories using elements of the plot like setting, theme, character development, and they're taking texts and making those plot elements into an actual visual representation of the plot of a story. So it's the narrative unit, and we're thrilled to be able to see our young students engage with those. In our robotics classes, our seventh graders are programming robots to navigate a maze. So Ms. Dunklin has lined up on her floor essentially a maze course, and what students need to do is they need to build their robot, which they've already done, but they also need to take that robot and program it to be able to navigate the course independently. So unlike a remote controlled car where a user, like a student, is driving the thing as it goes throughout the maze, this is different because the students have to do all the programming ahead of time. And so this is a good way to practice the iterative process. So what will happen is they'll program the robot to go, I don't know, 8 inches forward, turn 90 degrees to the left, and then go, 20 inches forward, for example. And they program the robot to do that. And if it doesn't do it, then they have to go back into their code, figure out how to change their code, and then move forward in making those corrections. The purpose of this is not because we're developing people to program robots to go through a maze, but the purpose of this is really to learn problem solving and the iterative process of going back and figuring out where one's errors are and making sure that that happens. In 8th grade, our history classes are studying Indigenous Peoples Day, which happened earlier this week. So you can ask your 8th grade students all about that, and probably your 7th grade students as well. So we are excited to be able to share that with them in our classrooms. This month, we also celebrated our Students of the Month in our classrooms at our school. So we have 3 students, Yahia and Sophia and Riley, one from each grade level, who were our Students of the Month this past month. That was a combination of academics, social emotional learning. So shout out to those 3 students, and we know that even more of our students will have them. Just a reminder, this coming Tuesday is Picture Day. And we have sent through Blackboard Connect a couple times already information about picture packages and how to purchase those. The good news is that you can always purchase them after the fact if you want to. But again, please make sure, please make sure your child is in uniform every single day, but please make sure they are in uniform, especially this coming Tuesday for Picture Day. They'll be getting their student IDs, and that'll be the picture that goes into the yearbook. Right. Okay. Update. And I think we shared with you this with you via email and text, and you may have gotten something already from the district as a whole. But if you recall, when we launched the year, there were 4 Wednesdays on our school calendar that we didn't quite know what they were going to look like yet. And now we do. And now I can confirm that. So what LAUSD has done is those 4 Wednesdays, which were TBD, October 19th, that's next Wednesday, December 7th, March 15th, and April 19th. Those 4 Wednesdays are now required school days. So they are our normal school days, normal periods 1, 3, 5, 7 advisory on those days, and those are required for all students, and all our teachers will be here teaching those days as if it were a normal Wednesday. Winter recess is going to stay the same time, so it's happening from December 19th through January 6th, so it's 3 weeks. That'll still be winter recess. Second semester will begin on January 9th. One change that you'll see is that instead of school ending on June 15th now, the last day of school will be Friday, June 9th. And so that will be the final day of school in this calendar year, Friday, June 9th. There are 4 optional acceleration days that we're going to make available to students, and more information about that will come soon. Those 4 days, 2 of them are going to happen the first 2 days of winter break, and then 2 of them are going to happen the first 2 days of spring break. They are optional for students. We are going to be encouraging specifically students who are struggling academically to be attending those days. But as we get closer to winter break and as we get closer to spring break, we will have more information for you families about what's happening in that. And then, as always, what we do here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy is we take any changes from the district and we update our school calendar with them, and that's available at that bit.ly/KJ2223 Cal. And yeah, that is that. All right, just as a reminder, the 10-week progress reporting window closes today. Many teachers have already submitted their grades, and we're in the process of finalizing those, and we're going to be mailing those on Tuesday the 18th. So you should get them in the mail by the end of next week or so. So please make sure to take a look at those, see how your student is doing, see what they can do to continue to improve as we go throughout the semester. Okay, just a reminder that we do have the Beyond the Bell program every day right after school from 3:46 p.m. until 6 p.m. When we have early out days, when we have minimum days like we did yesterday, those are still available immediately after school as well. And then Fridays, we go from 2:17 to 6 p.m. And just as a reminder, in general, if your child is going to Beyond the Bell, they can't get picked up until after 3:30 p.m. Most days, Monday through Thursday, that doesn't matter. But Fridays it does, because the high school doesn't dismiss until after 3:30 p.m. So like on a Friday or a minimum day, just know that. Also, the following reminder is really important. So if your child is going to participate in Beyond the Bell, what that means is they have to immediately go to Beyond the Bell as soon as school dismisses. What we've noticed is that there have been some students who like to leave campus when school ends at 3:45 or at 2:17, and they go off campus and then they, get some food somewhere, and then they try to come back onto campus, and they cannot do that. So if your child is leaving campus, then they are not participating in Beyond the Bell that day. So if they are participating in Beyond the Bell, they've got to go immediately to Beyond the Bell. All right. As we're actually done a little bit early, so we'll have a little bit of break before the Title I. Just as a reminder, next week we'll continue to do these coffees with the principals on Zoom, and I'm going to continue to invite folks from different high schools to come and share with our families about different high school options for our kiddos. Next week we've got special guests from the new LAUSD High School, Iveen and Young Center. That's a magnet school. It's led by one of my good friends and colleagues, Miss Akila Calhoun. She's the principal of that. And so we're going to be joined by them next Friday here on Zoom, and they'll share a little bit more about their high school and what options are available for that. And then finally, 2 weeks from today, I'm excited about this. We're going to have coffee with the principal, but it won't be on Zoom. It will be in person, and it will be at the Playa Vista branch of the Los Angeles Public Library. So it's just down the hill, just down the street from Playa Vista Elementary School, 6400 Playa Vista Drive. And we encourage you to come out, and we'll do coffee with the principal live and in person in 2 weeks from today. So we're excited to have you join us there. Okay, so just as a reminder, at 10:30, we will be joined by Ms. Dunklin, who's going to lead the Title I annual parent meeting. But we got a little bit of time to take some Q&A, and what we'll do is this: we'll take questions for however long we have questions for, and then if it's not 10:30 yet, I'll just keep this Zoom on and let people stay here, and then once Ms. Dunklin jumps on at 10:30, we'll get started there. So with that said, I'm going to stop the sharing of the screen and see what questions folks might have at this time.
Hi, Mr. Hansberger. I actually have 2 questions.
Go for it.
Okay, so the first one is regarding the shoes and clothes donations. Is that started? Do the kids just bring the clothes? Like how exactly does that work?
Great question. It has started. There is now a large metal container on our campus, right around the corner from the gate that students enter in. So if you have shoes or clothes that you would like to donate to the organization that does these clothing collections, just give them to your child in a plastic bag that can be tied up, and then any point during morning drop off, when they come in, they just come around the corner, open up the bin, and just put it in there. And then I think the organization comes once every 2 weeks to empty it out, and then we find or they find good homes for those gently used clothes.
Okay, so kind of follow up to that question. What if it's a lot?
Maybe have a conversation with me during drop off so I can understand
Okay.
what a lot means. Worst case scenario is you can. Worst case scenario is like if a lot means like like it's going to fill up multiple of those bins, then we
Mhm.
have to stagger it. If a lot means just more than my kid can like carry
Mhm.
walking in, but certainly it'll fit in that bin, no problem. Then it may be just be finding a time like after school where you can come and we can open the gate there and have
Okay.
a couple of adults kind of unload it. But I just have
Okay.
to understand a little bit deeper what you mean by a lot.
Okay.
But
Okay.
thank you. I know that will go very far to help families in need.
And then the second question, I'm like ultra embarrassed to ask because I just feel like I've missed something. Um, Parent teacher conferences, did I completely miss that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Well, let me back up and says, so parent teacher conferences already have occurred. They occurred this
Okay.
week.
Right.
But
So,
I shared with this group, I think last week and the week before, that given the limited number of formal slots that we have for parent teacher conferences, and given
mhm.
the diversity of the student needs that we have at this school, what we have shifted to in the last couple of years is
Okay.
meeting together as a team and identifying students who are most in need of a parent teacher conference. And what we do is we reach out to those families first, and we try to fill up all of our slots for families who our team has reason to believe that this will be really important and really, more like particularly in need for that particular child. So all that to say is, if you didn't get an invite to parent teacher conference, it doesn't mean we don't love you. It doesn't mean we don't care about your child. It means that we needed to prioritize some students and families who were like much more in need at that point. That said, if there are individual teachers that you are interested in having a live conversation with, whether it's by phone or on Zoom or in person,
Mhm.
our teachers do have a conference period every single day, during the school day, which they are available to meet with you, to have a phone conversation with you. My recommendation would be just to send them a message on Class Dojo, which is
Okay.
the most effective way, and just say, hey, I would love to talk to you about my child. When is your conference period, and when's a good time we could connect by phone, or I would love to even stop by the school.
Okay. So is it safe to say that despite maybe what I may be feeling or perceiving from my child, from what I see on Schoology, if I didn't get an invite, I shouldn't be uber concerned?
If you didn't get an invite, you shouldn't be uber concerned.
Okay. 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 That makes me feel better.
Okay, good. All right, any other questions right now, before we take a short little 10-minute break before the Title I?
I just wanted to say to Laura that I had the same question, so thank you for asking it first.
Awesome. Okay. That's all right. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep recording, but I am going to I'll pause recording. And I'm going to turn off my microphone and get in touch with Ms. Dunklin. And if you're able to stay on for the Title I meeting, we encourage you to stay on, and that'll be right here. I'm not going to close the Zoom. It'll be right here in about 10 minutes. So we'll see you in just a little bit.
Ms. Dunklin, I am your Title I coordinator this year. So I know some of you have come to the SSC meeting, but I'm here to give you an overview of Title I as it pertains to Katherine Johnson's Academy. So give me 1 second. I had it pulled up. I was just in another meeting, so forgive me for a second. Pull up here it is. There it is. To make sure it was ready. And then I'm gonna also put in the link to this as well. And I'll share the link in a moment. I want you guys to have any to here we go, to everything that I'm saying. So, hey. Okay, sorry, just things just forgive me. You know, computers, they work and then sometimes you're like, wait, why aren't you doing what I want you to do? All right, so I was just copying the link real quick so I can put this into the chat. All right, and now come back to here and share. Here we go. All right, so hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'm using my Chromebook right now, so I can't see any chat at the moment. And it's so now I'm just waiting to see if it's loading. There we go. So I put this in both. I used both the English and the Spanish. You know, just to make sure that everybody sees it. So I'm gonna kind of go through this fairly quickly again, so that you can go about your day. So I want to be respectful of your time. And so the purpose of this overview is just to inform parents and everybody connected with the children of the funds, the requirements, and the funds related to Title I. So the purpose of Title I is to provide all children significant opportunity to receive a fair, equitable, and high quality education, and to close educational achievement gaps. Every student, and this is due to the Every Student Succeeds Act, which is the ESSA, Title I, Part A, Section 1001. And if you have any questions, again, just kind of hop on and just ask questions as we go, because again, I can't really see anybody because I'm using a Chromebook instead of a Mac, and Macs work so much better with this. So, what is a Title I school is a school that has students who have low achievement educational, who have in the past achieved, they were low achieving in education, or students who are in high poverty schools, or both. LAUSD students must have a poverty ranking of at least 45. I was thinking about our own, to be a Title I school. And Katherine Johnson does fall into that. There are two types of Title I schools. You have targeted assistance and you have school-wide program. Katherine Johnson is a school-wide program, which means that targeted assistance just means that only those students are targeted through Title I, whereas school-wide program, which is what Katherine Johnson is, every student benefits from the Title I program, regardless of their achievement, their student achievement, and regardless of income, and regardless of any educational gaps. Every student gets the benefit of the Title I program. And so with Katherine Johnson, we are ranked 60.57. That's our kind of poverty ranking out of 104 Title I schools. And our Title I allotment for this school year is $109,430. So the way, even though like all schools are eligible for Title I funding based on poverty, some of the selection processes or services may not be based just on low income. So that's kind of like where the whole school-wide program kind of comes in. So a lot of it can be just based off of academic achievement, or in essence, closing those academic gaps. So the funds, so the federal Title I Part A funds are supplement to state funds. And the school receives those funds to provide educational program for all students. And then the services are required. We also have like services required that is required by law for our English learners or and our students with disabilities. So basically everybody gets some money or gets funding. So today we're going to look at the school-wide program a little bit deeper, parent and family engagement, the targeted student population funds, even though just to kind of give you an overview, even though we're not a targeted school, teachers and paraprofessionals, and accountability. So the school-wide program. And again, some of this I'm gonna go through because again, I'm gonna put this link on the in the chat. So a little later. So if I kind of go through something really fast, please stop and say, hey, you know, can you slow down a little bit? And I won't be offended. So school-wide program will serve every student, as I mentioned a little earlier, but will address the needs of those students who are most at risk. So like we will, all the plans are targeted towards the students who really, really need it, but any student can benefit from it. So for example, let's say we spend money on tutors, and those tutors are targeting those kids who are struggling in, let's say, math. That doesn't mean that only those kids can go to math tutoring. Any kid could go to math tutoring. A school-wide program, schools write a comprehensive school plan. So our plan is written for the whole school with those targeted areas in mind. So California Education Code 64001 requires that districts receiving receiving funds through the consolidated application process ensure that participating schools write a SPSA. Basically, it's a document that like says where's the money going and what the money, how much money and where it goes. If I remember correctly, I do believe that parents have an access, I think a limited access or to our SPSA through, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, wait, I was trying to remember which one was which. But yeah, so if you can actually see our plan, and here are all the steps in which you would do it, which is why I wanted to make sure you guys got this PowerPoint so that you can actually kind of go and explore and look at what where the money is going and how the students at Katherine Johnson are benefiting from the funds that we were allotted. And I actually would go through how to do all this, but for time purposes, and this is kind of a long PowerPoint, I'll let you guys explore and play on this on your own. So the California Code requires that each school creates a school site council. And we already did our elections and we created our school site council. And we had our first meeting in September. And then our second meeting will be October 20th. So that'll be next week on Thursday. So like even if you're not on the SSC, but you have like concerns or questions, feel free to email me you as to like what the discussion was in decision making. So the SSC is responsible for developing, reviewing, and improving the SPSA. And so again, like if you're like not on the committee and you're thinking, oh well, I'd like to see more X at the school. If you email me, again, so you email me, and then that's something I could present to the SSC, and that's something like we can discuss about like what budget things or budget items that we have. Because I know like not everybody can be on the committee, but you would like to have be heard and have your thoughts and questions be put out there, and I appreciate all of that. So the SPSA includes things like comprehensive needs assessment, goals and objectives that are measurable. So like we look at student data and so it's like, what do we need? What do the students need? Not really like us as teachers, but like, what do our students need? And then we kind of go back to the teachers. Well, what can we do as teachers to provide these needs for our students? So it could be like tutoring. It could be interventions. And when are these interventions taking place? Are they during the school day or are they after school? And how are they funded? So the budget is what we is in there as well. And then the process of implementing all of these actions, of all of the things that we decide. Do we have like how much? Something else I think is discussed as well is the amount of parental involvement. Like what can we do? How can we get the parents more involved as well? So the development of the SPSA, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, but you have your comprehensive needs assessment. So we look at data, what how are the children developing and progressing? What can we do to help decrease learning gaps, and help students reach certain goals? What budget, what is our budget for how we can do all of this that we want to do? Then we identify a proposal, we put it all together, and then we monitor and implement all that, and then we send it off. So it's a continual, it doesn't end. So basically we're always kind of like reevaluating everything and making sure that the best outcome is for the students and what can we best do to serve our students. So where are the funds invested in our school? So these are live links that you can go and look and see exactly where the money goes to. So I know LA Unified wants to be extremely transparent to parents, what is happening at their child's school and how the money is being used to benefit their students. And again, you can go through that and play with those links as you so choose. So our budget, oh man, this was supposed to change. I was supposed to change this. I am so sorry. I thought I changed this last night when I was looking back over this. I could sworn I just typed that in differently. But our budget, our total budget is 109,400, and I put that on. I know I put that on the other one. $109,430 dollars. And the bulk of it goes to support our college and career coach and our PSW. We added, we tried to get her an extra day, but we weren't able to, not because of our funds, but because of the PSW structure and situation, and like how many people they actually have employed. So we have ours for 3 days a week. She comes, Miss Tracy. She comes Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. She is phenomenal. She works very well with our students. They have grown to absolutely adore her. So we're so happy that she is on our campus and she is a part of the KJSA family. And then our college and career coach, she is awesome as well. So under essay, the term parent and family engagement means that the participation of family and parents, parents and family members on a regular two-way meaningful communication involving student academic learning and other activities. So it is really, really important that our parents and family, want to engage with us. And so I know that throughout the year, we're going to start rolling out some activities where parents and family can kind of come in and either volunteer at the school, because so that's a possibility. And even like if we have like a festival coming in and just teaching the kids salsa. I know someone came out and was teaching please email me, and I would take them to the SSC and to my colleagues to see like what other ways that we can have family and parents come in and just be a huge part of our learning community. Um, so I think I talked ahead of my slides, but so we're just, we just want parents to just come and feel comfortable being at our school, and ask questions like, hey, how can I be more support? What can I do to help you guys to support the school? So one of the things is the SSC Council. One way you can help, there's family and parent and family workshops that will take place. Um, Title I meetings that parents are invited to. Please come. The parent and family workshops. Please come. We value your input. The student, the SPSA is also a part. Um, so again, we value your input. My computer is going slow. Oh, it was me. Okay. So LA Unified adopted a district-wide parent and involvement policy back in June of 2018. And so this policy is distributed annually to parents and whose students attend the Title I school. So it's like a little pamphlet um, like thing. And I was trying to remember. I know I've seen it, and I believe I've seen it on a website, if I remember correctly. I apologize. I've seen it, and then just now I was just remembering. I didn't remember last night to go back and look to see if I can find it again. But I know I've seen it, and if you ask me, I'll go look for it and email me, and then I'll find it if it's not on our website, because I think that's where I saw it. Anyway, so with our family engagement policy, or the district's family engagement policy, basically it's just like we want parents to feel like they can come and be a part of our school community, and have if you have ideas, or if you have questions, or you want to again be a volunteer, if you know somebody who is who can do XYZ, like we love all of those inputs. And then there is a parent student handbook that will provide like deeper information to parents about like your engagement opportunities. And this is what the handbook looks like. So this is the one from last year. I couldn't really I was like couldn't totally find the one that's from this year, but I know it's coming. I know it's here, but that's the handbook is one I couldn't find, and I did look for it. But I know it's out there. So when I find it, I will like have it available. Um, I forgot what I was going to say. I apologize. It's been a long morning. Um, so there are funds for helping us put on like parent and family workshops. So especially throughout this year, this right, and then getting the handbook to you, like all of that, kind of happens at the beginning of the year, though. So required school level activities. Again, this meeting is one of them. Um, uh, Meetings where we got flexible number meetings. If I believe those are like the parent conference, like where parents come in and kind of talk with the teachers, like parent conferences, workshops. So like parent and family workshops. And in any other like training, so sometimes there are trainings that the staff and parents can put on. So like staff members can train parents on like how to do X with their students, so they can help at home with like homework or tutoring opportunities, stuff like that. So if your student is struggling in math, there could be like a math training session for parents where the teachers train the parents on how to do such and such in math. And then that way the parents, if they're feeling a little like I am not a math person, but then they can go home with confidence saying that, oh, I can help my student with their math problems because now I've been trained. So this is kind of like a repeat of some of the other stuff. It's just kind of showing us where the budget is. I can be kind of long-winded, so I'm trying to like curb that. This this slide here is some of the stuff that we did last year, and kind of repeating it, some of it this year. So I added in the Latin festival. So our students are currently, they started last year with Empower Her. So Empower Her and Inspiration 52, they are male and female mentor groups or mentorships programs that our students participate in weekly. So our seventh graders participate on Thursdays, and our eighth graders participate on Wednesdays. And this happens at the very last of their last class and through advisory for that day. And then through this, there are field trips that the students go on. And it just kind of gives them a chance to just be inspired or be empowered as students, and for like not just their education, but just as human beings. And then we have like different festivals, like and some of these dates are I just kind of threw them in there, just kind of like an idea. But we can have, Spring Fest would be a great opportunity for families to come out and just kind of like hold like little booths, and and like do really cool things with the students, like face painting or bracelet making, or teaching the kids how to do something really fun, like maybe a cultural dance would be fun. The Earth Day is April 21st, so having a beach cleanup, and then having parents and families and parents kind of come out and like help with that, and that kind of shows the students that that our earth and our beaches are important, and not just for the school, but as for families as well. I think this was proposed last year, and we did it through open house, but as the STEM/STEAM, I'm trying to, work in a lot of stuff, but as the STEM teacher at the school, I would love to have like a true STEAM or STEM showcase towards the middle or end of May, maybe right before testing in May, so that the kids can kind of show their parents all the really cool STEM or STEAM activities that they've done throughout the year. and maybe teach the parents a little something. So these two were from my needs assessments last year. And these are just kind of ideas that I've been thinking about. I haven't 100% proposed them to Mr. Hunsberger. So his first time he's seen them. Ha ha ha. And I would love to add more to this as well, because I would love to have the parents come out and just, have fun with the students. We are required to give out information about like the qualifications of the school's teachers. So for example, if there's a teacher who has yet met all of the highly qualified requirements for LA Unified, you get a letter, and that happens in September. So you should have already received the letter stating that we may or may not have, or we may have a teacher who has yet met all of the qualifications for the highly qualified teacher. That doesn't mean that they're not qualified to teach your child. It's just that through the standards of LA Unified, they have yet met all of the qualifications to meet those standards, but they are working on them, and will do so either by the end of this year or the beginning of next, or whenever the program is finished. This is kind of a reiteration of an earlier PowerPoint. And for time purposes, I have like a few more minutes. Just instead of sharing, we're just gonna keep going. So the targeted student population, again, is just for the schools who are targeted. They have their funds are allocated and are targeted towards those students that need that have the needs that are required by Title I. So teacher qualifications, teachers should meet applicable state certification and licensure requirements at the time of employment. So going back to that letter earlier, when I stated that, we may have teachers that aren't 100% qualified. They do have their licensures and state certifications. It's just that they may be like a brand new teacher and could be on probation. Like a few years ago, I was a brand new teacher in the state of the state of California, not teaching altogether, but in the state of California, I was brand new. And so I had to go through all of these. So I was highly qualified, but by California state standards, I still needed to do some of these things, like some licensure stuff and some certification stuff. So it's like I said, you're still qualified to teach your child. Just by the state standards, there's some things that need to be done so that you meet the state qualifications. Hope that makes sense. For paraprofessionals, not as rigorous, but they're still there. So you need a your high school diploma or GED, and they would prefer a bachelor's degree with some of the newer hires. But having some college background is helpful. So accountability. And we are almost done. So the state plan, so we look at data. So when it comes to accountability, we look at data. So we look at SBEC scores, we look at IAB scores, which we monitor throughout the school year. Students in class academics is something else we look at as well. It's like, okay, well, how can we get our lower performing students up to, how can we close those gaps, basically? So we look at a lot of data for that. And Mr. Hunsberger has us looking at data a lot. So this is truly the 2021-2022 school year. I looked at dashboard that's why I put this under construction note here. I did look at dashboard and I've kind of like monitored it throughout the school year, and it is still showing our 21-22 school year data. So this is what our 2021-2022 school year data looked like, or at least this is what pulled up when I looked at it. And I even looked again last night just to be on the safe side to make sure that if the data has changed. So this right here is not 100% accurate just right now. I know that we don't have 142 students. I think we have like around 100, and last count I counted 111. So I didn't really change this one because I wanted this whole thing just to be under construction, with the understanding that I will be changing the slide once I get the correct information. And to get the information, so you can see the same information I saw, I went, the California dashboard is where this information can be found, and you can go and look, and you can look at the California dashboard. Just type in California school dashboard, search our school, and all the information will pop up. And then this is also like a little YouTube video that kind of shows you how to navigate it. And just, you as parents, you are our partners in helping work with our students. So together with the school staff, teachers and everybody else who works with your students and we are a partnership to make sure that your student is prepared to move on to the next step. For us, it's moving on to high school. And then even, there's no shame in talking about college beyond high school. Gives the kids something to, to reach for and to look for and to run towards. And I talk a lot about college in my classes, and the kids are always talking about, oh, well, this college, offers this and this college offers that. So yeah, they're middle school students, but it gives them something to kind of, like I said a little earlier, gives them something to run towards. And with you as our partners, we can assist them in doing that. And that, resources. Again, if you have questions, please contact me. You can email Mr. Hunsberger. He'll probably send me those questions. So you can always email me, and I will do my best to try to either answer your questions, or if I don't know the answer, I will go to someone or find someone who does know the answer and get the answer and bring it back to you. If you have suggestions or comments or anything, just, always feel free to email me, and I will do my best to, like I said, answer questions or bring concerns or comments to SSC. So I want to thank you. Wow, and I stopped at 11 o'clock. That was awesome. I'm going to sharing so I can actually put stuff in there. Okay, there is the presentation to the link to the presentation that I just went over. Are there any questions or comments or concerns? Feel like if everyone's silent, that means I've done a good job in my explanation. I don't know if that's true or not, but that makes me feel better to think that. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ms. Taylor. Thank you. So again, if you have any questions, Mr. Hunsberger, do you have anything you want to say? He may be dealing with something. Well, I am actually done. So I've done my part, and this, I hope that you guys feel invigorated about the school year. Sorry, it's a little late. It's like, the middle of October. With scheduling everything, trying to get this done a little earlier. it just wasn't in our schedule. But I'm always happy to speak with you guys. I teach every kid at the school. So if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to either me or Mr. Huntsberger. If you have an idea for a parent workshop, let me know. If you have an idea for some kind of like cool festival or a cool student family program, let me know, and then we can see what we can do to try to like put all that together. I like working with families. I think you guys are extremely valuable, and it shows the kids that, you know, everybody's working together for their benefit and their success. So I don't know if Mr. Huntsberger has anything else he wants to say.
I want to say thank you, Ms. Dunklin, so much for leading this presentation, but for also taking on the task of coordinating our Title I program. It's no small feat, but she is very well accomplished to this task, and she's learning a lot, and she's got 2 good resources to reach out to. I used to do this before I became a principal, and also she's in good contact with, some of you may remember, Ms. Jones, who did this for us last year. So thank you, everyone, and thank you especially Ms. Dunklin. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You're welcome. You guys have a great rest of your day.